So I'm going to record this class like I do for all other classes. I hope that is fine with all of you. So that is the consent for the recording. So if there is no
Hare
issue,
Krishna.
let's progress. Hare Krishna. So welcome all to this edition of a new scripture that we are doing, this Isopanisad. Many of you have attended the Bhagavad Gita classes that we did. Some of you partially, some of you fully. So, as part of the question might come in is why Ishopanishad? So, typically, as advised by Srila Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, had advised as part of his entire set of scriptural studies. He had mentioned four books, important books, which is required for every person to know. Yeah, of course, one is Bhagavad Gita. Then which others? Anybody get any other guesses? Of course, Ishopanishad. Which others? Anybody? Any other guesses?
Bhagavatam and Chaitanya
Uh,
Charitamrita.
okay, Bhagavatam, not yet. Not yet. Not for that one as advised by Srila Prabhupada.
Chaitanya Charitamrita. I think one is Krishna book.
No, no, no. Any other?
Nectar of instruction,
Nectar of Instruction, very nice. And
nectar of devotion,
Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And what is Nectar of Instruction in Sanskrit? I forgot the name. Upadeshamrita, very nice. Yeah. So Upadeshamrita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ishopanishad, and Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is the base book which we all studied and we have completed that. So next comes one of these three books. So we said we'll do Ishopanishad. That's part of our next book. So we all know our library on vedabase.io. So there we have all our books. We have also Ishopanishad. So this is the base book that we are going to refer to. This is what we're going to study as part of our this particular session on Saturdays. I don't have a target to finish this in certain period of time or whatever. We will try to do 2 sessions per shloka. Any guesses how many shlokas in Ishopanishad?
18.
18 and plus invocation shloka 19, and there is an introduction by Srila Prabhupada, so 20. So today we will focus on the introduction of the Ishopanishad as part of our opening round. Yeah, so Ishopanishad, yes, obviously it's an Upanishad, but when we say Ishopanishad, what comes to your mind? Tell me.
Prabhuji, first, if you can clarify what is Upanishad. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm discussing, right? So when we say Ishopanishad, what comes to your mind? So Upanishad comes to your mind, and your question comes, what
I
is
feel this
Upanishad?
is like a brief, like a précis of Upanishad, is it?
Okay,
Like
good
a
guess.
executive
Good guess. So
summary.
that's what comes to your mind. Upanishad means a précis about something. Okay, good. What else? What other thoughts come to your mind? So one thought comes to Rashmi's mind is, what is Upanishad? Good. Okay, not a problem. Good thought. Yeah, Anita Mataji?
Isopanisad, I feel that it's related to Lord Krishna.
Very nice. Very nice. Every scripture related to Lord Krishna, definitely. Yes. Very nice. Yeah. So Krishna is always the right answer, actually speaking. Yeah. So for whatever question, if somebody asks if you say Krishna, then that is always the right answer.
Cheating.
This is from my Bhagavad Gita reading forward.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Sachin Prabhuji, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, we can't hear you, Sachin Prabhuji. Okay, somebody else just chip in. You don't have to raise hands or whatever. It is a group discussion class. Yeah.
Isha means controller, and Upanishad is to sit near the controller.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Yeah, yeah, that's the technical definition if you look at. Isha means God, yeah. And Upanishad means to go near. Upa is, yeah, near. Nishad, yeah. Nishad is to sit. Yeah. So to sit near God, or the process to go towards God. Yeah, that is what this particular Ishopanishad is about. So good. So scriptures, yeah. So how many scriptures? Any guesses as per what we know? Which other scriptures do we know? Sorry, if anybody's going to do some on chat, it might be a bit difficult for me to read the chat. Yeah, so it's a bit challenging with multiple screens open and also trying to read the chat. So please excuse me if I not able to look at the chat. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. So I was saying scriptures. So what other scriptures do we know? Bhagavad Gita, of course, we've all learned.
Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Ramayana, very nice. Chaitanya Bhagavat, very nice. Mahabharat is there, very good. What else?
Are Vedas, Prabhuji?
Vedas, very nice. Yes, Vedas. Aditya Prabhuji, you said something?
Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya
Bhagavatam, yeah, Bhagavatam. Puranas, somebody said. Yeah. So everybody's aware how the grouping is of what is the classification? Ramcharitmanas, okay, good scripture. One more scripture. What else? What others? Mahabharat, Ramayana, then we saw different Puranas, Bhagavatam, Aditya Prabhuji said, Chaitanya Charitamrita, so many, yeah. Upanishads themselves, yeah, Vedas. So 4 Vedas. How many Upanishads? Any guesses?
108.
108 Upanishads, very good. 4. How many Puranas?
18 Puranas.
18, and how many Upapuranas or Sub-Puran? Nobody? Another 18. Yeah, so total 36 Puranas. Yeah, okay, so good. So there are so many scriptures. Yeah, and if you look at the different classification, yeah, so this chart nicely depicts a different classification of Vedic knowledge. Primarily, if you look at, they are, everybody can see my screen? Sorry. See my screen. Now?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a nice chart which shows the entire Vedic knowledge. Yeah. And primarily they come under 2 headings. Yeah. So Vedic knowledge, first heading is Shruti. Shruti, or that which is transferred through oral reception. Shruti, Shrunu. Yeah. Just by hearing, revealed absolute truth, every word is unchanged eternally. It has come through the disciplic succession of. Then comes Smriti, or it is composed by the Vedas, composed by sages, and there are slight changes that happen based on time, place, circumstance. Yeah, and if you look at Smriti, further decomposition of Smritis, what are the various Smritis? Various ritual sutras. So the Shrauta Sutra, Grihya Sutra, Dharma Sutras, yeah, Manu Samhita, so many things. That is one part of our scriptures. Then there are various tantras. Yeah, tamasic tantras, rajasic and sattvic tantras. Tantras are like black magic or magical kind of mantras, which are used for powering your spirituality. Then there are pancharatras or vidhi vidhans, how to kinds of, how to do worship, how to do deity worship, how to do temple puja, all of those. They are called the pancharatras. Then comes the Puranas. We've seen the 18 Puranas and 18 minor Puranas. Definition of a major Purana. Anybody, any guesses? What is a major Puran?
Bhagavatam, Prabhuji.
Bhagavatam is a major Puran. Very nice. Yeah. But why is it called a major Puran?
Because it is the description, or we can call Sar of all the Vedas.
Okay.
And it's mainly deal with
Krishna. Okay,
I mean, all
but
the
still,
Leelas, Avtaras.
there are other Puranas which do not deal with Krishna, but still they are also called major Puranas.
Okay.
Yeah. So anybody? Yeah, Krishna Priya, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try, Prabhu. I'm not sure, but I
No
think
problem, go
those major Puranas are Puranas which deal with 10 subjects.
Very nice, very nice. 10 topics. Yeah, there are 10 topics beginning with creation, subcreation, yeah, all and various things. Yeah, there are 10 different topics which are covered in a Puran. If 10 topics are covered, then it's considered to be a major Puran. Upapuran are the 18 Puranas, when that means there are not all the 10 topics are covered. There are lesser than 10 topics, 5 or 8 topics are covered. Therefore, it's considered to be a minor Puran. Okay. So then there are itihasas. Yeah, itihasas are like principal example of itihasas are Ramayana and Mahabharata. Yeah. Then there are the 6 darshanas. Yeah, darshanas as in Digdarshan. Yeah. So different types of darshanas: Vedanta, metaphysics, Mimamsa. Yeah, hermeneutics, how to interpret and all of those particulars. Mimamsa is there. Nyaya. Yeah, philosophy of knowledge and logic. Yeah, all of those are part of the darshanas. Then Vaisheshika, the philosophy of existence, a lot of things is described. Yoga, Patanjali's yoga is all of that is here described. And Sankhya, yeah, or metaphysics, which is described as the 24 elements. That is Sankhya philosophy. It's considered atheistic because the 2 principal elements, soul and super soul, are not considered part of this Sankhya philosophy. Yeah. So that's how the principal smritis are broken down into. Yeah. So where does the Upanishad come in? They come in Shrutis. Yeah. So in the Shrutis, typically you have the Vedas. Yeah. Then you have the Upavedas. Vedas as in the 4 primary Vedas: Rig, Yajur, Sam, and Atharva. Then, of course, you have the Upavedas, Dhanurveda, Ayurveda. So many different types of Vedas are there that we've seen. Dhanurveda as in the knowledge about all weaponry. Ayurveda, knowledge about health. Yeah, like that. Then different Vedangas are there. Yeah, which talks about rituals, pronunciation, Vyakarana. Yeah, Nirukta. So even Vyakarana is Shruti. Yeah, it is described how it is. Each one of them is each shloka, each verse. So the thought point come in is, if it is revealed and it is transferred only through Shruti, how do we know it is perfect? Yeah. So there are actually inbuilt checks and balances within the mantras itself. Yeah. So that's what is covered in this Vyakarana. Sanskrit Vyakarana, Sanskrit grammar is actually a check and balance. That when a particular mantra is composed, the mantra has to have a specific meter. It's one of typical meters is Anushtup. Anushtup Chanda, that is the meter that is used to pronounce the mantras. And the way in which each of the mantras and the words and the roots of the words are put in, they have to be in that way only. Yeah. If you change anything, then automatically it doesn't fit in the meter. So that itself becomes a check in itself that nobody can change what has been originally mentioned. Yeah. So that is how the entire Shruti was ensured, that the same thing, what we read in any of the current Ishopanishad that we will learn, is the same Ishopanishad which was written, whatever, or spoken, so whatever number of years ago. Yeah. And because the meter is perfect, because there is a check and balance which is in the setting of the words itself, that itself conforms, saying that there is no change that has happened in this. There is an entire PhD on this particular topic of how the Sanskrit grammar and the creation of the mantra is so perfect that any changes that come in causes problem. Yeah, then therefore no change can be allowed, no change can be entertained. Basically, that's how the authenticity of each of the mantras is mentioned. There is a fantastic YouTube video, if you get to see, which talks about this particular topic. Yeah, that entire mantras are actually mathematical equations. So just like we know a square plus b square is equal to the diagonal square, yeah, like Pythagoras theorem, right? That cannot be changed ever. Yeah, the same way each of the mantra is a mathematical equation in terms of sound, in terms of invocation, in terms of the meter, and there are multiple other checks which are there. Yeah, so that ensures that the mantra which is written and which is spoken and which is given to the disciple, yeah, can never be changed, because as soon as certain change is coming, it gets flagged. It gets kind of, somebody who knows Sanskrit grammar will, it will start shouting, this is wrong, this is wrong. Yeah, that is how the entire authenticity of the Shruti is kind of mentioned. Why? Because one of the important Vedangas is the Vyakarana. Yeah. Then the entire etymology, how each of these particular setup is done. Yeah, chandas or meters, which I talked of. Yeah, and the various time aspect, time calculations, all of those particular things. Yeah. So that's how the Vedangas come in. Then, of course, comes the important point where we will focus on, which is the Vedas. Yeah, so four Vedas are expanded into Samhitas. So mantra, a combination of mantra is actually there is a grouping. Yeah, and certain set of mantras are called Samhitas. Yeah, then there are different ritual explanations of mantras. Where is Aranyakas, esoteric explanation of all the mantras, because you need to understand the mantras also. And then comes this Upanishads, or the Jnana Kanda, or the philosophy of the Brahman. Yeah, 108 Upanishads, very rightly put. But how many are considered principal? Any guesses of the 108? Any number? Guess number? No? 10. Yeah. So there are 10 specific mantras. This is the mantra which actually Jaimini Rishi puts in. He says, Isha Kena Katha Prashna Munda Mandukya Tittari Aitreyancha Chandogyam Brihad Aranyakam Dasha. Dasha. These are the 10. Dasha as in 10. What are those 10 that we can see here? So the Rig Veda propagates the Aitreya Upanishad. Yeah, so original Veda is these 4 Vedas. They break down into 108, but of the 108, these are the principal ones. Yeah, so Aitreya. Then there is the Krishna Yajurveda, part of Yajurveda, which has Katha Upanishad and Taittiriya Upanishad. Then Shukla Yajurveda, two Vedas in 2 parts, dark and light. Yeah, Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda, which has the Shukla Yajurveda has the Isha Upanishad. Yeah, and of course Brihadaranyaka, then Samaveda has the Kena and the Chandogya, Prashna, Munduka and Mandukya. Yeah, so like this are the main set of Vedas and how each of the Vedas expand into the Upanishads. Yeah, that's how the 10 Upanishads come in, and the Isha Upanishad is the very first Upanishad of the principal Upanishads. Yeah, so that's what we are going to focus on. That's the study that we're going to do in terms of this particular process that we have started. Yeah. So any questions till this particular point of time or comments?
Prabhuji, what is the meaning of this Aitreya?
Yeah, various sets. Taittiriya basically talks about the physicality. How is the subtle body created? Yeah, what are the subtle aspects? So different aspects. Katha Upanishad also talks about something similar. Kena. These are various topics that are covered as part of each of our understanding. So Isha Upanishad is one that brings us closer to God. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Aruna Mataji had a question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, just wanted to understand that 36 Puranas are there, and out of which 18s are major and 18s are minor. So under 18, 10 different topics are covered. Which are those topics?
No, under
Prabhuji?
1810. Each of the Puranas has 10 topics. Yeah, that we will discuss in our Bhagavatam class. That is not topic for today. The
Okay.
10 topics, yeah, is introduction to Bhagavatam. That is 10 topics of each of the Bhagavatam or each of the Puranas.
Okay,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
That is separate discussion that will derail our discussion here. That we are not talking about Puranas, we are talking Upanishads now. Yeah, Aditya Prabhuji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, what is the difference between Puranas and Itihasas? Both are histories, right? Or any
Both
specific-
are histories. Both are histories. Yeah. But there is some technical difference why they are. So I think both Puranas typically are not in a timeline. Yeah, like even when we read Bhagavatam, we see how time jumps here there. There is no specific. But Mahabharata is a specific story, and there is a timeline. There is a chronology. Yeah, Ramayana, there is a chronology, but other Puranas does not have typically a chronology. Yeah, it is a collection of stories, collection of various things. Like we see it even the Bhagavatam in the first canto itself, we see Narada Muni's story, then we see Krishna's story, then we see Kapil Muni's story, like that. So there is no chronology largely. That's one of the principal differences between a Purana and a Itihasa. Itihasa, there is a clear chronology and a timeline of what event occurred at what point of time, and typically it follows a chronology. Yeah, that's the principal difference. There are other differences I might not be fully aware, but this is the one which I'm aware of.
Thank you, Guruji.
Yeah,
One
Pratibha
more
Mataji,
question
go
may
ahead.
I ask?
Sorry. Yeah, you had one more question. Go ahead.
Guruji, it's a silly question. Guruji, the Bhagavad Gita is also an Upanishad, right? And
Gita Upanishad, yes.
Gita Upanishad. So
It's
it is
considered
not
an
part of.
additional Upanishad. Yeah, very nice
Okay, so
point.
it is not part of the main 10 Upanishads,
No,
or
because it comes as part of the Itihasas, no? It comes as part as Mahabharata. Yeah, but it is a summarized study of all the Vedas and of all the Upanishads, and therefore it is also called the Gita Upanishad.
okay.
Srila Prabhupada
So
refers to that as the Gita Upanishad actually.
okay, okay, Guruji. So it is part of 108 Upanishads, right?
No, it is
But
not.
it is no. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
technically it's not an Upanishad, but it is referred to as an Upanishad. That's all.
Okay. Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, it's a part of Mahabharata.
Part of
Bhagavad
Mahabharata,
Gita.
correct.
So
It's part of the
it's come
Itihas.
under Itihas.
Yes, correct. You're right. Yeah. So in the Itihas, like Lord Krishna has spoken the summary of all the Upanishads and the Vedas, and therefore it is considered as a Upanishad, Gita Upanishad. Yeah. I mean, even in the between, what is the Veda and what is the Upanishad, there are technical differences. Yeah. Again, that is technicality, not so much important for us to get into that detail. Yeah, Pratibha Mataji had a point.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just want to clarify. So, Rig Veda is separate and Aitreya Upanishad is a
Yes.
part of it, or
No. It's not a part of it. It's a separate scripture altogether.
separate. Okay. So Vedas is deals with something else.
Is a set of topics. Yeah. Then
Uh,
it's like purports to the Vedas. Like Srila Prabhupada has Bhagavad Gita, but for each of the shloka there is a purport. You can write a purport related book itself. Now, what will happen as time goes by, the purport needs to be explained further. Yeah. So somebody will write purport on purport. Like that, isn't it? So Vedanta sutras are there, and so many things are there like that.
Okay,
So
Prabhuji.
these are further explanations to the understanding of the Vedas.
Okay, Prabhuji. Can you briefly tell like what each of these Veda deals with?
I'm not an expert. I've not studied that. Maybe we'll have to look at. I mean, it's there in one of the presentations. But there are multiple things that it talks of.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, Anita Mataji had a point.
Yeah, Guruji, I just wanted to know these Vedas summarization or scriptures. They were written and in some format like
No.
the
They were not written. They got written just
only
recently. All the Vedas are Shruti mantras. They are only passed
they all are
down
Shruti
through.
mantras.
Yes,
Okay.
they are only passed
So
down in
because
sound form.
So, sir, because I'm just trying to understand that there were some manuscripts which were found years back, archaeological survey, and is that anything related to these
Yeah,
Vedas
they
and
must be part of
Upanishads?
one of those things, no? They must be
Right.
part of this entire one. Somewhere they must be falling under.
Okay.
Those manuscripts will be one of these set of things.
Okay, Guruji. But most of it is Shruti, right?
Shruti is those which are only given from word to mouth.
Yeah.
And now recently, of course, because our Kali Yuga brains are not so intelligent, so they have written it down for many of these particular things.
Okay, Guruji. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Asha Mataji had a point? No?
And one more thing, Puranas, I have heard, is it right? They are categorized into three gunas. The Puranas are divided into three gunas. Sattva, Raja, and Tama, and then they are more
Yes.
classified.
Yes, yes, that is the Puranas. So there are 6 which are Sattvic Puranas, 6 which are Tamasic, and 6 which are Rajasic. What that means is not the Puranas are having those modes, but they are for those people who are in the modes, in the lower modes. That's the again Puranas topic. It's not related to Ishopanishad. But yeah, good point. That there is the 3 modes of nature also coming into the picture for many of these particular things. Okay, great. So let's focus on what the Ishopanishad is about. Yeah, if there are no other. Yeah, so like we see every piece of knowledge, yeah, unless it is applied, it is of no use, isn't it? When we say how is a particular knowledge imbibed, we say it follows 3 steps. Anybody knows what those 3 steps of knowledge imbibing are, which we have discussed?
Listening, understanding, and application.
No, not listening. Some other word, nice word
Uh,
is there.
exploring,
Discovery.
discovering.
Yeah, discovery.
Association.
No, not association. So knowledge imbibing comes, association gives rise to discovery. So you discover knowledge, then you understand. Discovery, understanding, you understand knowledge. And third part is application, isn't it? So application, basically when all 3 happen, when you discover knowledge, when you understand that knowledge, and when you apply application of knowledge, that is when the imbibing of the knowledge has happened. Yeah, till that time that knowledge is partial, it's still unmanifest. The manifestation of the knowledge happens when there is a action, when there is an application of that particular knowledge. Yeah, same thing with Ishopanishad also. Yeah, it talks about we will see a lot of beliefs, a lot of knowledge. It talks about a lot of practices. Yeah, and ideally a combination of both of them should give rise to spiritual advancement. And ideally, if you see even in our own life, belief and action, it gives rise to lifestyle. Isn't it? I want to exercise every day in the morning. That's my lifestyle. Why? Because I believe that exercising will help me. Because of course knowledge, I've read somewhere knowledge about exercising and all of that. Then what do? I actually do the exercise, isn't it? And that's how my lifestyle comes into play and I get a healthy lifestyle, isn't it? So knowledge and practice gives rise to lifestyle or spiritual advance. Same thing also is the entire focus of the Ishopanishad. Yeah, so if you look at this nice picture, yeah, let's look at the overall 18 mantras we've seen. 18 mantras and one invocation mantra 19, and Srila Prabhupada has given a fantastic introduction to the overall Ishopanishad. So that's what we're going to do today. But this is what the introduction also talks of. That what does the Ishopanishad consist? So let's look at what does it have? Vision. The first part is the vision, what is the knowledge, what are those things. So if you see, the invocation gives the foundation of knowledge of the Supreme Person, who is Krishna, who is Brahman. Yeah, and a definition is given as to who this person is. Yeah. Then mantras 1 to 3, basically they are practices for living entities, what we should do, what we should not do. Yeah, and like we discussed, what is our overarching principles of what to do and what not to do? Who remembers?
Always remember Krishna and never forget.
Very nice. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That's our overarching principle. Same thing here is what this practice is also. What should a living entity do? What he should not do. That is what we will see in mantras 1, 2, and 3. Then comes mantras 4 and 5. Yeah, mantras 4 and 5 talks about knowledge of the Supreme Person. Yeah, and mantra 6 and 8 gives a little bit of practice of the spiritual vision, how to see. Yeah, then comes the guidelines for knowledge, which is mantras 9, 10, and 11. Yeah, and mantras 12, 13, and 14 are guidelines for practice. Yeah, so if you remember the picture above that I showed, yeah, Knowledge plus practices gives spiritual advancement. So if you follow this particular, this is what the overall structure of the Isopanishad is. Yeah. So knowledge mantras. Yeah, this is how the and the knowledge and the guidelines of practice. That is what is mentioned in 12, 13, and 14. Then finally comes the prayers or the spiritual aspect of the entire thing. Prayers for knowledge and prayers for practice. 15 and 16 are prayers for knowledge. 17 and 18 are prayers for practice. So that's how the overall Isopanishad is structured. Yeah. The overall aspect. Yeah. The third and final section, if you look at this, maybe somebody can read this particular point from here. This simple formula. Yeah, Aditya Puruji, please read.
Hare Krishna. This simple formula for our spiritual purification may be called the vision of the text. In the Sri Isopanishad, this vision is revealed in its invocation and mantras 1 to 8. In order to begin the process of receiving this vision, mantras 1 to 3 offer prescribed practices for the living entities, namely ourselves. The invocation and mantras 4-5 enlighten us with knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Both the knowledge and practice of their relationship are fully revealed in mantras 6 to 8 as the vision of a pure devotee. The second section of the Sri Isopanishad, mantras 9 to 14, gives further guidelines of the nature of knowledge and practices. Mantras 9 to 11 give guidelines for which knowledge is to be sought. Mantras 12 to 14 give guidelines for which practices are to be followed. The third and final section, mantras 15 to 18, are prayers offered by the devotees to the Lord to obtain this vision of the Sri Isopanishad. Mantras 15-16 are prayers for realization of the knowledge given. Mantras 17-18 are prayers for acceptance of our practices.
Very nice. So structure, everybody understood how the overall structure of the Isopanishad is. So if you remember, even in the Bhagavad Gita discussions, we found what an overall structure of the Bhagavad Gita is. Yeah, and then once you get the structure and an overall picture 30,000 feet, then you get to know when you discussing each and every section where it fits in the big picture. Yeah, then automatically understanding becomes much more easier and better. Yeah, that's the important aspect of for us to comprehend what this overall picture is. There is another way to look at this particular mantra, this Isopanishad also is a very nice other way, which Srila Prabhupada has also given in various purports and which we will see, is to look through Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. Everybody knows what Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana is? Who does not know? Everybody knows? Very nice. Yeah. Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan. Sambandha is relationship between me and Lord Krishna, the Jiva, and Abhideya is the process to establish the relationship, and Prayojana is the ultimate final goal. Where do I want to go? How do I reach Lord Krishna? Yeah. So that is another way to look at this particular entire Isopanishad. Yeah. That different set of verses, different set of aspects give us Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. Yeah. So let's look at this particular understanding in this particular verse from some fantastic notes. Yeah, somebody else can read. Yeah, Rashmi Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. From AC Bhaktivedanta, right?
Yeah.
AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, one of the great teacher and adherent of the Vedic knowledge, has given the translation and commentary on the Isopanishad in the strict observance of the intention of this book, assuring of a legitimate understanding of the depths of this Upanishadic knowledge.
Yeah. So where does this entire thing come from? It comes from Srila Prabhupada's understanding that he has given us. Yeah, it does not divert us from anything else. Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Isopanishad is directly a Vedic literature. Being part of Shruti Yajurved, it has total 18 verses that discuss Sambandh, relationship, Abhideya, process, and the Prayojan, ultimate result of spiritual practices. Relationship or sambandha is discussed in the invocation and mantras 4, 5, 8 and 14. The process or abhidaya is discussed in mantras 1 to 3, 9, 11, 15 to 18, whereas the prayojan or purpose or resultant goal is discussed in mantra 6, 7, 10, 12 and 13. Shri Ishopanishad presents the knowledge that brings one nearer to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan, if that is implemented in our life, what happens? We go to Lord Krishna. Therefore, Ishopanishad is the Upanishad which brings us closer to God. That is what the understanding here is. So we can make note. I hope everybody is taking notes and making some notes. Relationship mantras are invocation 4, 5, 8 and 14. We will discuss this when it comes, when we discuss each of these in specific ones. Yeah, then Abhideya is 1 and 3, 9, 11, 15 and 18, 15 to 18. And Prayojan or the ultimate goal is mentioned in 6, 7, 10, 12 and 13. That's the important part. Yeah. So Ishopanishad therefore brings us nearer to Krishna, nearer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, great. Yeah, so let's now dive into the first part, yeah, which is focus for today, which is the introduction to the Vedas. Yeah, introduction to the entire Ishopanishad. So this is the one of the most fantastic aspects of Srila Prabhupada's books. Yeah, that when he talks, the talks itself becomes like a book himself. So this is the lecture that he had given in Conway Hall in London in 1969, and that itself has become a introduction to the entire Vedas. Yeah, and Srila Prabhupada discusses what the Vedas are and why it is important for us to look at and have faith in the Vedas. Yeah. So first part of the entire topic, Srila Prabhupada discusses what is the problem with all of us. Yeah. So he says that Vedas is original knowledge, but how do we understand and how do we say what the Vedas is correct and what should be our position in respect of the Vedas? So first point in the section he makes is that there is a difference between somebody who is a conditioned soul and somebody who is a liberated soul. Yeah, and he says there are 4 kinds of defects, yeah, in each of these. So what we'll do is, let's read these 4 points. I want you to make notes as we are reading about the 4 kinds of defects. Yeah. So let's read from here. Yeah, somebody else can read. Yeah, Aruna, Indu Mataji can read.
Hare Krishna. The difference between a conditioned soul and a liberated soul is that the conditioned soul has 4 kinds of defects. The first defect is that he must commit mistakes. For example, in our country, Mahatma Gandhi was considered to be a very great personality, but he committed many mistakes. Even at the last stage of his life, his assistant warned Mahatma Gandhi, don't go to the New Delhi meeting. I have some friends and I have heard there is danger, but he did not hear. He persisted in going and was killed. Even great personalities like Mahatma Gandhi, President Kennedy, there are so many of them, make mistakes. To err is human. This is one defect of the conditioned soul.
Yeah. So first defect everybody has to remember is we commit mistakes. Yeah. To err is human, and that is the defect of the conditioned souls. We always are galti ho gaya. Why? Because we are conditioned souls. So that's the symptom clearly that and Srila Prabhupada establishes this through how? By giving 2 examples of jivas who are supposed to be considered very great, but still they did mistakes. So everybody does mistakes, even great people do mistakes. That is what gets established here. Okay, second defect. Let's look at this one. Aruna Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna. Another defect, to be illusion. Illusion means to accept something which is not. Maya. Maya means what is not. Everyone is accepting the body as a self. If I ask you what you are, what will you say? I am Mr. John. I am a rich man, I am this, I am that. All these are bodily identification. But you are not this body. This is illusion. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so even in the Bhagavad Gita, we have seen this. First knowledge which Lord Krishna gives Arjuna is you are not the body. Yeah, but so therefore, what is the illusion that we all have? Thinking I am the body. And till this body is there, I exist. Once the body is not there, I won't exist. That is the biggest illusion that everybody has. And therefore, what do? They associate everything in relation to the body. Yeah, I am Kannadiga, I am engineer, I am vice president, I am this, I am that, I am I'm an Indian. Yeah, some of the biggest upadhis, they are called upadhis that we attach to ourselves, and we keep on adding upadhis day in, day out, every day we keep on adding upadhis. Upadhis are all the bodily designations, yeah, and which shows how much we are in illusion, isn't it? Because all these bodily designations are going to go away once the body goes away. In fact, the body does not go away, the soul goes away from the body remains here only. And then the body is totally lifeless, valueless. You kind of put it into fire, or you kind of put it into the elements. Yeah. So who are we, or who am I? I am a spirit soul. That is our original constitutional position, our original understanding. Yeah, because we think I am the body, we are in illusion. That is the biggest illusion we have. The second defect that we have is illusion. First, commit mistakes. Second, we are illusioned. Okay, let's see what the third point he makes. Third defect. Yeah, somebody else? Yeah, Rashmi can read. Rashmi, are there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. The third defect is the cheating propensity. Everyone has a propensity to cheat others. Although a person is fool number one, he poses himself as very intelligent. Although it is already pointed out that he is in illusion and makes mistakes, he will theorize, I think this is this, this is this. But he does not even know his own position. He writes books on philosophy, although he is defective. That is his disease. That is cheating.
Cheating, yeah. So cheating propensity, that's the third defect we all. Everybody has this cheating propensity, one way or the other. Shortcuts. We all want some shortcuts. We all want something very fast. We all want to get rich, to get success in the shortest time frame possible. Cheating propensity. Everybody is wanting to cheat others. Everybody is wanting to cheat themselves. Yeah, and everybody is thinking that I am this intelligent person and I know this, and they keep on theorizing. Therefore, they do not know, but they still keep on theorizing. That's this cheating propensity. A third defect of the conditioned soul, or all of us, all the jivas. Let's look at last defect that we have that Srila Prabhupada mentions in this particular one. Yeah, Kunal, Kumud Gopal Prabhuji can read.
Lastly, our senses are imperfect. We are very proud of our eyes. Often someone will challenge, can you show me God? But do you have the eyes to see God? You will never see if you haven't the eyes. If immediately the room becomes dark, you cannot even see your hands. So what power do you have to see? We cannot therefore expect knowledge, Veda, with these imperfect senses. With all these deficiencies in conditioned life, we cannot give perfect knowledge to anyone, nor are we ourselves perfect. Therefore, we accept the Vedas as they are.
Yes. So that Srila Prabhupada in the last 3 lines mentions our position vis-a-vis the Vedas. So now, for example, if we do not have senses which are perfect, so we have 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Yeah. How many senses totally? How many senses we all have? Total number of senses?
Eyes.
No, total number. Number first. Yeah, eyes is one of them.
11.
11. Very nice.
11.
11 senses. Yeah, and how are they grouped?
Subtle and gross.
No.
And mind.
No.
Acquiring
Knowledge acquiring senses
and working senses.
working senses, and 1 mind. 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses. So 5 knowledge acquiring senses are, yes, Anita Mataji, eyes, you said 1.
Touch.
Touch, okay.
And you have, I think, yeah, smell. I'm not sure.
Smell,
Odor
yeah.
and
Ears, yeah.
ears, yes. Hearing
Yeah.
and
Taste.
taste. Taste, yes.
Yeah. So 5, yeah. So like that, 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Through these, we acquire knowledge. Yeah. Now, if, for example, if a telescope is broken and you're trying to see a star, will you get the right information about the star? We will not. Which means that if your instrument is imperfect, the knowledge that you acquire from that instrument is going to be imperfect, isn't it? So if our senses, now we'll say, we know my senses are not imperfect. Yes, they are imperfect. Why? Because they are not fully qualified and capable. Now, for example, there are multiple examples. Srila Prabhupada here gives one example of, as soon as this room becomes fully dark, we will not be able to see our own hands. For example, in terms of so many other things, for example, a dog, it can hear so many different sounds which even we cannot hear. Ultrasound and different beyond the normal hearing range sound also it can hear, which means his ears are more powerful than what our ears are, isn't it? Yeah. Or even sight. For example, if you look at even sight from an owl perspective, the owl can see in the dark. Yeah, but we cannot. So therefore, our knowledge acquiring senses are not perfect. So if I have to see something which is perfect, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with my own set of eyes and own set of ears and the other 3 knowledge acquiring senses, I will not be able to comprehend who God is or who the perfect person is. Therefore, what do I need? I need an additional set of senses or chakshus. Chakshu as in eyes. So that's called the Shastra Chakshu. Shastra Chakshu as in the knowledge from all the different Shastras. Yeah, that's called the Shastra Chakshu. That is an additional, what I should say, sense that we have to have faith on. We have faith on our eyes also, right? Same way, we have to have faith on all of the Vedas. Yeah, that's the position that Srila Prabhupada brings in, that A, conditioned souls, you do not have the right set of equipment to comprehend what is the reality. You need something else, the Shastra Chakshu or the vision. If you see here, what we discussed in this, sorry, where is it gone? Yeah, in this particular, we need a vision, isn't it? We need something to see. We need something to understand who God is. So that vision, that particular additional capability, who gives? It's the Vedas which gives us, the Upanishads which gives us this Shastra Chakshu. So we see the same example also in Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter. Lord Krishna, he tells Arjuna, you have material eyes. You can't see my, Virat Rupa. Therefore, what do I give you? I give you Divya Chakshu. So he gives him Divya Chakshu, and with the Divya Chakshu, he can then see Lord Krishna everywhere, wherever he is, in whatever form, and we see the Virat Rupa, the universal form of the Lord. So because he gets a Divya Chakshu, he's able to see this particular form. Same thing for us also. Because we do not have the Divya Chakshu, what we have to look at? For us, the Divya Chakshu is given to us by Shastras. Therefore, the Vedas or the Shastras or scriptures becomes very important. Why? It is an additional information, knowledge acquiring sense that we have got, Shastra Chakshu that we have got. Yeah. So that's the proposition of what Srila Prabhupada is making in this particular introduction. Yeah, Anita Mataji had a point.
Guruji, with this same paragraph, you could even have a very good conversation with an atheist. I mean, you cannot convince them to accept the
difficult.
presence of the God, but I think this whole thing is so well said that we have so much of deficiencies, and so maybe,
Exactly.
yeah, not convinced about the presence of God. These are the thoughts that came to my mind as you were explaining.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada makes this particular point on, what is the truth then? Yeah. How do we look at which aspect of the truth is to be looked at? Yeah. So he gives further one simple point, that the Vedas, because they are Shastra Chakshu, we accept them as axiomatic truths. He makes this point further. The natural classifications are found everywhere. What does he talk about natural classification in the lines above? He says there are 4 types of people or 4 divisions of society: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And he says that these 4 sets of people you will see everywhere. This classification is seen everywhere. And then you say, oh, America, where there are Brahmanas or where there are Kshatriyas. But if you look at the functions that these people perform, for example, we've seen the example of a company, for example. There is a company, say Toyota Motor Company. The Toyota Motor Company owned by a certain set of people. There is a board of directors. They are the the administrators of the entire company. There's an owner who is the Vaishya. The Vaishya is the owner, or now there is joint ownership. So all the stockholders, they are like the joint ownerships. Yeah. So there is an owner, there is a Vaishya class. There is a set of persons running the company. Yeah, they are the Kshatriyas. They are the administrators of the company. They are running all the company. Then to help the administrators, there are certain sets of Brahmanas, which means those advisors. And then you have the McKinseys, you have the KPMG, you have all of these. What are these? These are like the Brahmanas. They give advice. They tell, oh, you should do this. This should be a strategy. This you have to do this. Open this market here. This company, this country is not doing very well. Don't sell your cars here. They are giving advice, and that's how the Kshatriyas are executing. And then, of course, there are a lot of Shudras, all the workers in the company, isn't it? Yeah. So if you understand what the Vedas tell, that what the Vedas telling are something called as axiomatic truths, meaning some things which you have to accept as it is. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada makes this point here. Vedic principles are accepted as axiomatic truths, for there cannot be any mistake. And that is how we have to accept all the Vedas. That what is mentioned in the Vedas is the truth. Now, another example Srila Prabhupada gives further, is from a position of the aspect of cow dung. Cow dung is stool of an animal. You might think it's dirty, yeah, but it is considered pure in as per Vedic our Vedic understanding. So we in fact we collect cow dung, we put it on our walls. If you I don't know if you have seen, but in my when I was young, I remember in my mama's house, they would smear the entire floor and the walls with with cow dung, and that was considered to be. It was done almost every Ekadashi day. It was done, that particular smearing of the cow dung. It was considered extremely purifying, that entire. And now when they did, Srila Prabhupada makes this point, when they did the in Calcutta, very prominent scientist and doctor analyzed cow dung and found that it contains all the antiseptic properties. So even though it from a normal perspective, it says this is not correct, but Shastra Chakshu, Vedic injunction says no, it is purifying, you have to do this. And what we followed that blindly. Yeah, we always, because we know it is correct, because it's coming in the Vedas. A similar thing is with the conch shell. Conch shell is considered to be a bone of a dead animal, isn't it? But still, what do? We use it for all achmanas, we use it for important functions. Isn't it? A conch shell is blown. Lord Krishna himself blows his conch shell, Panchajanya. All the Pandavas blow their conch shells. The conch shell is considered a bone of a dead animal. In fact, if you touch a dead animal, you're in Sutta. You have to go and take bath, and you're not considered pure. But you take the conch shell and you put it to your mouth and you blow it also. So how is that? How is that particular understanding? Yeah, that is again the Vedic injunction. Vedic injunction says no, the conch is considered to be a purified aspect of the animal. So therefore, what the Vedas mention is the truth, is the position Srila Prabhupada gives. Another example Srila Prabhupada gives is that of a mother. The mother can only tell to the child who the father is. Isn't it? And the child has to believe, yes, my mother is telling. Of course, nowadays you can do DNA tests or whatever, but what was the original understanding? Mother says this is your father, and the child has to accept. So he has blind faith on his mother. Same way we have blind faith on the Vedas, on the scriptures. What is the blind faith says? That this is who Krishna is. This is what his address is. This is how he is. These are his leelas. These are all the understandings and so many things. And you are a spirit soul and you're a covering of a body. All of these that come from the Shastras. If you ourselves try to find out all of these knowledges, Yes, we can find out, but it might take a very long time. Therefore, what do? One of the first things we do is accept the Upanishads, accept the Vedas as the supreme truth. Yeah, that is what here Srila Prabhupada makes the makes the points out. He says Shruti is considered to be like a mother. Yeah. And says, for example, if you want to know who your father is, who can answer you? It is your mother. Same way, when the Vedas, when the Upanishads tell us about God, we accept that as the supreme axiomatic truth. Yeah. So now comes the aspect of truth, isn't it? Srila Prabhupada talks about the truth. What is the best way to understand the truth? Yeah. So he talks about three kinds of truths or three kinds of evidences. Yeah. So let's look at this very nice, and then we can close another 5 minutes. So let's read from here. Somebody else, Pratibha Mataji, can read.
If you want to know who your father is, and if you accept your mother as the authority, then whatever she says can be accepted without argument. There are three kinds of evidence: Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Sabda.
Shabda, yeah.
Shabda. Pratyaksha means direct evidence. Direct evidence is not very good because our senses are not perfect. We are seeing the sun daily and it appears to us just like a small disk, but it is actually far, far larger than many planets. Of what value is this seeing? Therefore, we have to read books, then we can understand about the sun. So direct experience is not perfect.
Hold on. Yeah. So now Pratyaksha. So three types of evidences or three kinds of proofs or three kinds of truths that we see. Pratyaksha is something that I see with my own eyes or I experience with myself. And many times you see, oh, this sun, sun, it looks so small, it is in the sky. But actually, it is much, much, much more bigger and powerful than the entire earth itself. Much, much more bigger, powerful than who we are, isn't it? How did we know? Of course, the scientists went, they came to know, they did all of these experimentation and they have established, oh, this is the diameter of the sun, this is what the diameter of the earth is. And therefore, we have come to know that, oh, what we are seeing is actually not correct. Even with the example of a plane, we see a plane flying, but the plane might be very small when it's looking in, when you look at it in the sky. But when it actually comes in person, when you see it, when you're next to each other, it is so vast, so huge, isn't it? So direct evidence, problematic. There, it might not give us all the right information that is there. Why? Because our senses are imperfect, isn't it? Therefore, that comes the aspect of pratyaksha. Pratyaksha is something which is not very good. So that's what direct evidence is not perfect. That's one aspect. Hold on to your questions. I know there will be so many. But let's look at the next two types. Then there is the second one, Anumana or inductive knowledge. Okay, somebody else can read this one. Yes, Sachin Prabhu can read. Is your mic okay? Okay. No, looks like problematic. Go ahead, Sachin Prabhu.
Yeah. That there is Anumana, inductive knowledge. It may be like this hypothesis. For instance, Darwin's theory says it may be like this, it may be like that, but that is not science. This is a suggestion and it is also not perfect. But if you receive the knowledge from the authoritative sources, that is perfect. If you receive a program guide from the radio station authorities, you accept it. You don't deny it. You don't have to make an experiment because it is received from the authoritative source.
Yeah. So second type of evidence or praman is Anumana. Anuman, yeah, is guesswork. Yeah. So now if I don't know, then I can, oh, on this day, this program will come. On that day, that program will come. You are guessing. But if somebody is telling you directly, no, this is the radio program guide. This is what the programs are. And you now exactly know which program comes on what day. Therefore, what are we concluding to? A, direct pratyaksha is problematic. What you are deductive knowledge is also not so perfect. What is perfect? Therefore, comes the third part, which is the Shabda Praman. Yeah. And Shabda Praman is what? Shruti. That's what we've seen, right? What is the Vedas? What are the, they are Shruti. Shruti means that which is received by oral reception from an authoritative source. Yeah. So let's look at what this one says very quickly. Yeah, Mamta Mataji can read.
Hare Krishna. Vedic knowledge is called Shabda Pramana. Another name is Shruti. Shruti means that this knowledge has to be received simply by oral reception. The Vedas instruct that in order to understand transcendental knowledge, we have to hear from the authority. Transcendental knowledge is knowledge from beyond this universe. Within this universe is material knowledge, and beyond this universe is transcendental knowledge. We cannot even go to the end of the universe. So, how can we go to the spiritual world? Thus, to acquire full knowledge is impossible.
Yes. So now comes the third aspect. If you look at only depend on Pratyaksha and Anumana, then you will not get full knowledge. Yeah, because you have to physically see everything and then come to. Now, if I want to know something about beyond the material world, I'll have to go beyond the material world to then understand. Now, of course, it is impossible to go beyond the material world. It is so vast. Even to go beyond our own galaxy is going to be challenging. Going to Mars itself is such a challenge. So how will we know what is beyond this particular set of material worlds? Therefore, we need somebody who is from there, isn't it? And therefore, the Vedas are considered apaurushaya, not from this material world. They are considered from beyond the material world. That is what the importance of the Vedas is. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada goes further, and in his next set of paragraphs, he discusses about what the Vedas speak and how the Vedas, which talks about Krishna and what Krishna speaks, for example, in the Bhagavad Gita, we accept it as it is. Yeah, that is what real faith in the scriptures is. Yeah, that we have to accept knowledge as it is from the Vedas. Why? Because we have 4 defects. We cannot comprehend everything on our own. Direct evidence and deductive evidence cannot be taken. We have to have something which is from beyond all of this. Yeah. So therefore, that's where this entire Vedas come in. These Vedas are beyond normal human evidence. Yeah. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada says that's the position that we have to take in the further set of paragraphs in the introduction. Srila Prabhupada talks about how the overall knowledge has come in from the spiritual sky. Yeah, and of course, in the end, he talks about the importance of Krishna consciousness or importance of understanding from Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, so that's what he mentions in this particular set of introduction. I want you to read this particular introduction over 1 week as part of your homework. Yeah, so that we can discuss further questions, further aspects in the introduction to the Vedas, introduction to the Upanishad. Yeah, so we are out of time. We will discuss in the next session, first 15 minutes, the overall summary of what we've discussed in the introduction. But please also read read the introduction of to this particular to this particular book. Yeah, very nicely explained about what our position to the Vedas or to the Upanishads is. Yeah, it comes in as part of the entire book Isopanisad. So when you open Isopanisad, it will come in here, introduction. Then that is what is the entire. Yeah. So please do read this as part of your homework, and we will discuss further questions that will come in to this introduction that Srila Prabhupada has given to the Upanishad, to the Isopanisad. Hare Krishna. Okay, sorry, I've taken a bit of additional time today, but hopefully we can complete in 1 hour from now on. Any quick questions or thoughts to all of this? Yeah, Indu Mataji, go ahead.
Prabhuji, can you share the chart that is the
Yeah,
division
I will share.
of...
All of this material I will share, don't worry.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Prabhuji, I just wanted to know if we know the authors of all the Vedas, like how we know Bhagavad Gita.
No,
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 we
no,
don't.
we don't know. They have come in from, because they've come in as a Shruti, who originally has said, so actually the original author is Krishna himself, because Krishna has given it to, so if when we read the Bhagavatam, yeah, the Bhagavatam discusses this particular point very clearly, that the first 4 mantras, yeah, was given by Lord Krishna to Lord Brahma. Yeah, and then Brahma expands all of these, and therefore, if you see, the Vedas come from Lord Brahma. Yeah, and who is the root of all the Vedas that comes from? That the root is Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna, when we read Bhagavatam, it gives Lord Krishna gives him, when from the Nabhi he comes out. Lord Brahma doesn't know what to do. All he hears is 2 words, ta and pa, tap. So he sits to do tapasya, and then Lord Krishna in his heart, reveals these 4 important verses, which are considered to be the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Yeah, and from those 4 important verses, the Vedas come in, and then the further Upanishads come in, and all of these things, all of the scriptures come in from there.
Chatushloki is that only, no, Prabhuji? Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, the same
That
one.
is Bhagavad Gita.
Okay,
Bhagavatam is Ahameva Samevagre Nanyad Yat
Okay.
Savasatparam.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so that comes under in the 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, 39, 40, 41, 42, if I am not mistaken. Yeah, 33, 34, 35, this one. Yeah, Ahameva, we do this as part of our closing prayers every day for the Bhagavatam class. These 4 are considered to be the root of what the shloka is, what the information given by Lord Krishna to Lord Brahma. Then Brahma expanded from here to all the Vedas, to all the Upanishads, and then of course other different sets of people came in, and different, like Brahma also expanded and created different, all the Munis came in, different Munis are in charge of different portions of each of the Vedas. And that is also given in Bhagavatam. I don't remember exactly, but each of the Vedas is handed over to one of the Munis. Then the Muni expands that particular Veda for all of these. That's how the original authority comes into this entire Veda. And like I told you, right, the importance of the Sanskrit grammar and the mathematics of every shloka. Yeah, then that needs to fit in. Only then the authenticity comes in.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, if there are no further questions, let's close with closing prayers that we do. एकम शास्त्रम देवकी पुत्र गीतम एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रः तस्य नामानि यानि कर्मापि एकम तस्य देवस्य सेवा त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कात्यायनी महामाये महायोगिन्यधीश्वरी नन्दगोपसुतं देवी पतिं मे कुरुते नमः श्रीकृष्णः शरणं मम दासोऽहं कृष्ण तवास्मि श्रीकृष्णः शरणं मम दासोऽहं कृष्ण तवास्मि श्रीकृष्णः शरणं मम दासोऽहं कृष्ण तवास्मि हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। श्री ईशोपनिषद पाठ की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
हरे कृष्णा everybody.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्णा, बाय बाय।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्णा, बाय बाय।